Welcome to the Step-by-Step Millionaire, where our job is to make you money. And today we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to explain to you how to keep your money, or rather not to lose the value of your money, because with the changes that are happening down in America and the things that the government is continuing to do, it's because the US dollar is the base dollar worldwide that everyone uses, it affects everyone's finances. And unfortunately, America, for the last 12 months, has been, it's a nice way of putting it, printing money with no value behind it. Now, governments have been doing this for a long time. It's called fiat money. It means it has no backing, or they'll say it does have backing, but it doesn't. And to give you an idea of how bad it is down there, the reason that it's occurring is America basically can't borrow any more money from anyone. America takes in $3 trillion a year in taxes. They're spending $8 trillion and to the moon now with the new government that's down there. And because nobody will lend them money anymore, no one will buy their treasury bills, even the Fed can't buy them enough, the amount of money sloshing around has had to be increased. And so in the last 10 months, 12 months, they have created 40% of all of the money sloshing around in the US with their stimulus packages. Now, why is that a problem? That is a problem because, actually, let me put it to you in a simpler way. Let's say that we form a company and the company has a value of $10 and we want to raise money on the company, so we're going to sell some of the value of the company's parts of the company to other people. So we're going to create 10 shares for this company. Now we want to keep 5 shares ourselves and put out 5 more shares that other people can buy, and this would leave us with a 50% stake in the company. Now, that's all and well because the company's worth $10. We've sold 10 shares. Shares are worth $1 each. Now, let's say that we want to raise more money. So we put out 10 more shares, or even 5 more shares, but we put out 10 more shares, okay? That means the company is still worth $10, but we now have 20 shares out there. That makes the average value of the average share no longer $1, but it drops it in half. They're now worth 50 cents a share. In essence, when the US puts that money out, it's exactly what they're doing. So that means that it's going to take $2 to buy what used to buy $1. Get that? That's where inflation comes from. Now, here's why that's a problem to you. The US has several ways of dealing with this inflation that's going to be coming up. Now, the first way they deal with it is they lie about it. Why do they lie about it? They lie about the actual inflation rate, and our country does it just like America does it. A lot of countries do it. They lie about the inflation rate because Social Security for old folks and union pays and all sorts of things are tied to that inflation rate. So, if the government can say the inflation rate was only 2%, then they only have to raise Social Security and the other items by 2%. And so they'll hide that it's 5% or 10% or worse. And so they'll do it by doing several things. First off, what they'll do is they'll change what's looked at. So a report will come out and say, inflation this month minus gasoline was running at 1.5%. Why minus gasoline? Well, they minus gasoline because gasoline, let's say, went up a dime per liter. Well, if they put that in, then inflation actually went up, let's say 2% or 2.5%. So they don't want that hideous variable, so they'll remove it. Or they'll say the inflation rate minus gas and housing. So you see, that's how they manipulate what goes out to the media. Now, the second thing they manipulate is what's in the basket. There is a grouping of items that they look at every month and say, okay, based upon what these cost, this month versus last month, we can tell you how much the inflation rate is year over year, whatever. Except they cheat. See, if you look at what they used in the 1930s and what they use now, they keep changing what's in the basket. So where there might have been a steak in the 1930s, now there's ground beef. So it appears the inflation is not going up when it really is. And the third thing they do in that basket is they change value. So they'll put stuff in I mean, this is supposed to be the core stuff necessary to live, but they'll add in a computer, they'll add a television set in, like somehow we buy a television set every month. It shouldn't be in the basket. But you see, television sets and other items like that, really sneaky. They base this supposed value on increased value. So let's say that your television set cost you $400, but now you can buy a television set this month, even though you're not buying one. But let's say that you could buy a television set, and now instead of your 1080, it's a 4K or a 6K or an 8K. And they say, you can still get that television for $400, but it gives you 3 times the resolution. So you see, you're getting 3 times the value, so the actual cost has actually gone down on your television set. No, it hasn't. It still costs the $400, but they use that perceived value. So why is all this important? First, that you know that. And second, because if you have any cash assets sitting in the bank, the value of those, their purchasing power is going to start dropping. Why? Because the cost of everything is going to start rising. You got $60,000 sitting in a savings account somewhere making a paltry return, but food is going up 5, 10, 20% in the year. You need more money to purchase with that. So let's say, and this is where I'm going to talk to you about this, because you can't find something that's going to keep your cash going up. But there are certain things that are going to be beneficial to you in what is called hyperinflation, and that's when the inflation starts increasing like 1% per month, and then 2% per month, and 10%. Some countries it goes 1,000% every couple of days, every week. It's that bad. Let's say that you own a house. If that house is locked in on the mortgage for 5 years, and the house is worth $300,000, and hyperinflation sets in, okay, pretty soon as it goes, $300,000 is what a cup of coffee costs. And yeah, it happened in some countries, which means that the bank can't charge you any more interest or any higher interest. And so the amount of purchasing power for the bank, it starts dropping, and you'll be able to pay your loan off for $100,000. So if you have hard assets with percentages on them from the bank locked in, you're in a good place. If you have a floating loan, on the other hand, where the mortgage can change per month, that's dangerous. I'd advise you, even though it's a higher percent right now, I'd advise you with what's coming, it's a good idea to lock in, okay? That's how you can maintain the percentage on it. It won't go up, and when the hyperinflation hits, and believe me, it's already coming, you won't end up with a loan with 19% interest like happened back in the 70s, early 80s. You want to protect yourself from it. That's our piece of advice for the day. Thanks for watching. You know how it works. You hit the buttons and leave a comment below. Pass it around to your friends who need it. Thank you very much for watching. Keep your money safe. Thanks for watching the Step by Step Millionaire, and go make some more.